95k BTC, but it's all about these altcoins again. They are getting rinsed. We got pressure on a lot of these alts, but is the pain over now? Are we going to get a short-term bounce? What is going to happen next? So guys, I'm going to give you my plan today. I've got tons of alts for you sitting on some interesting levels now. We got some levels lower down as well. So we got so much to talk about here. Let's get right into it. And remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, and hit the subscribe. As you know by now, Ray is in the house. There's the man. I've still got my Lord of Entry sign red. We're feeling a little bit bearish, but I put the bullish cap on just to raise everybody's spirits here and see if we can get some kind of short-term bounce. Now, Banter Bubbles has got a new feature, and you guys see I use this thing every single day, but Banter Bubbles has now got the live feature as well. So those of you interested in live price action, you can log onto Banter Bubbles, click on live, and you can see what is happening in real time. Obviously, we've got the normal stuff, the 1 hour, the daily, the weekly, all those things. And there's an app in the show description for you. If you want some Banter Bubbles on your phone, it doesn't have to be on your browser. There is an app in the show description link for you guys. So absolute misery. I think that's the best way to call this thing. Absolute misery out there. We got double digits negativity here on these alts. AVAX, near, Floki, everything is fucked, guys. Sell everything. That's basically what is going down. Virtual, that is hurting me, but virtual is moving into our big zone, the 3.24 zone that I've been eyeing out for the last couple of days. We are finally going to move into that zone. Are the bulls going to step in, or are they going to end me? Are they going to liquidate me? So we're going to need to find out. Well, we're going to find out today. I think in the next 6 hours, I'm either going to get liquidated or we're going to start pumping there. So Celestia, Ray's favorite token there, looking amazing. Minus 15% there, Ray. Celestia, go boy. Going straight to zero. So all about messy here. Let's look on the 1 hour. Has there been any type of reversal here? Okay, thankfully, we click on the 1 hour. We can see a little bit of action here. Now look on your left-hand side of your screen. You got Sonic and you've got Phantom. So remember, Phantom is no longer. It is now all about Sonic out there. So we are going to talk about that one as well. So let's jump into BTC. Let's see what these guys are doing to us. I mean, this is miserable, but if you're an altcoin trader, guys, it's even worse. Those altcoin charts look disgusting. I mean, some of them are printing new lows. You don't even want to know what Popcat is looking like at the moment. And I took a couple of blows on that AIXBT last night, got beaten up last night on AIXBT while I slept. Always unpleasant while you're sleeping, getting smashed. And that, look, nature of the game though, and we're gonna tackle these a new day, fresh day, and some new trades coming up for us. So BTC on the 2 hour, what are we looking at here? You can see I've highlighted a big zone of interest for me. This is going to be my 786 and my anchored VWAP from the dump lows here. So anything from 92,900 for me up to 93,900 is the next zone of interest here for us. So Ray and I were debating if it's worth trying to ladder into a BTC position here in case we do get some kind of bounce in that zone. So we're looking at that one at the moment. So I'm locked and loaded here on Prime XBT. I'm ready for some action, and I do like that move a little bit lower into that type of region here. So let's see if we can get another push into that guy. We might get an opportunity there, then a trend break, and then a little bit more action. So that is my current plan here on BTC. So 93,900 down to this VWAP, and call it 92,900. That little box there, that little zone is very interesting to me for a bounce. And you can see we're getting a little bit of tie in here from the oscillator to the downside. It is trying to creep higher at the moment. So we're going to see how that plays out. If we do get a push in the market. Now, I'm not expecting turbo bullish things here. I'm expecting a short-term move in the market. I'd like to jump out on a lot of these trades that we're trying to get involved in here. If we do get a pump, we're going to take some profits on a lot of those if we do get that move higher. And where will that be? Well, the big zones are going to be to the upside when you start pushing. 95,770, that's a danger zone. And then 98K is another danger zone for me. You can see our 50-day MA in the way, our horizontals, our 382. So that 98K, massive danger zone there for us. So just look out. If we do push up, these are the zones you're typically going to look at some kind of rejections. Adam says, don't panic. Everything is fine. It's all fine, guys. The bullish hat is on, and the red Lord of Entry sign is on as well. We're all confused. Don't worry. It's all going down. But let's get into the juice. So you've got the plan now for BTC on the 2 hour. And this, who's feeling like this guy over here? He says 2025 is going to be my year. This is my portfolio at 6 a.m. on the 38th of January 2024. It's going well. It's going really well. We're feeling beat up. We're feeling abused. But if you've been around long enough, you know, this is how we shrug it off. I mean, literally, the amount of times I've seen these shitcoins dump 10, 20, 30% in a day. I mean, fuck me. Nothing scares me anymore. And if you've been a seasoned trader, you know the drill. You know, it's whatever. Bitcoin dumped 5%. Whatever, guys. We've seen this story before. And if you want to track the liquidations, well, it's all here. You can track it on coinglass.com, their liquidation data, and you can see the live liquidations. Look at this, 1 hour wrecked 7 million, 24-hour wrecked 500 million at the moment, and it's all the longs. So thank goodness we've been carrying a couple of hedge shorts along the way. Fortunately, that seems to save our butts when things do fall over, but at some point we are going to get that short squeeze again, and we are expecting a bounce at some point here, and we're going to talk about that one in detail. Now, this was a bit of a burn here from Marcel. He says Bitcoin is not the same as before. Saylor gave it a face and a key man plus centralization risk. MicroStrategy, NQ inclusion, and ETF flows bring unconvinced passive flows. Bitcoin getting hijacked for ideological, political purposes and weaponizations. Wow, that's quite a burn. And BTC is running out of catalysts. So, I mean, interesting statement here. What is going to drive it next? So, I mean, hopefully we've got our man going to push us. The Trump pump, he is going to do that for us, right? I mean, isn't that what we all decided was going to happen here? So here's Donald Trump in his speech yesterday. He says, inflation is going to rage. Interest rates are far too high, reflecting concerns over current economic policies. Okay, now I have a cool tweet here from somebody who said the last time Trump made comments like this, okay, certain events happened. So this is Julian, and he says, Trump, interest rates are far too high. The last time he said something was too high, it was the dollar back in 2017, just days before his inauguration. Here's what he said. Our companies can't compete with them now because our currency is too strong and it's killing us. Last year, he also called recent strength a tremendous burden on U.S. businesses. Now, Trump understands the impact of the strong dollar, and the same logic applies to high interest rates. They suppress exports, hurt corporate earnings, and slow economic growth. Well, what happens next? Well, the dollar began a significant decline, setting the stage for one of the most pivotal macro moves we've seen in years, triggering a melt up in risk assets. Deja vu? I think so. Let's see how it plays out. Now, interesting view here. And I mean, with Trump's comment, we got to be a little bit bullish here with regards to those type of comments here. And Charles Edwards is basically telling us that Trump is teeing things up here for a pump once he is president. So Trump inflicting some hard verbiage. So markets dump under Biden and pump post-inauguration. Okay, so something interesting for you guys. It's some food for thought there on what is going on. Now, I wanted to just tell you guys, our Chart Hackers is live. Our Twitter account is now live, and we are posting alpha. We are posting shit that's going down in there. So give us a follow. It is the Chart Hackers, not Chart Hackers, the Chart Hackers. And give us a follow there and take a look at what is going on. If you want to find out more about Chart Hackers, you can see we're posting alpha, we're posting content, and you'll get an idea to what we are doing in there. So that is live and cooking. So make sure you guys are following us, the Chart Hackers, and then obviously me as well at the Lord of Entry. There's the sign behind you. Okay, let's get into some juice here. Let's get cracking. So S&P 500 turning green today, thankfully. Is Bitcoin going to follow? Is the altcoin market going to follow? Well, look, we hope so. After a big sell-off like yesterday, you normally get some kind of bounce in the S&P. We expected something to happen here. So hopefully we can get a little bit of continuation there from the S&P side. But Bitcoin, not happy at the moment. And here's this head and shoulders situation from yesterday. And just a reminder, we had that pump into our 618 and rejection. Now, we've seen that on tons of altcoins. ETH is obviously an important one that is looking very similar at the moment. So Bitcoin, if this is going to play out, these are the zones, the big zones on the daily. 92K, we're watching that. 88K, we're watching that guy, and then 85K. These are all realistic levels here that Bitcoin can come to. We got to face the reality of the situation here. We cannot just be turbo bullish here. We need to understand what is actually going on. And when we see a head and shoulders like this playing out, we got to identify those levels. So it is all on the table. We're not going to go lower just yet. 77K, we won't even talk about that one just yet. But I suspect along the way, if we don't bounce right here where we are now on that 200, I expect along the way, we will get bounces along the way. And these alts are going to bounce. We're going to make some money going long. We're going to make some money going short. So it's not panic stations. It's just reality check here as to what is going on for us. Okay, so Bitcoin 2 hour, we've got the plan. Ray, just keep me posted there. If we do hit this 93,900 zone, that could be a nice place to start adding to our BTC long here if we are going to get some kind of bounce. Okay, let's go. Okay, so you guys know the story. Bitcoin falls over. What does it do? It drags all the altcoins with it. Okay, that's it's nothing new here. And I thought, let's take a look at Total 3 on the weekly. Now, we've been watching Total 3 on the daily. We had a beautiful trend break on the daily. We were holding the 50-day MA yesterday, and now on the daily, we've actually started pushing below the 50-day MA. So that is a little bit bearish from that front on the daily chart. So what I wanted to do here was say, okay, the daily is now looking a little bit bearish after that loss of the 50-day MA. Where are we on the bigger picture? Let's get a little bit of perspective as to what can actually happen here on the weekly. So what we do know is our oscillator is still bearish. That is telling us it wants to come down. We do have a situation before where our oscillator did reverse sort of mid-dip. So we don't want to write that one off and say it's not a possibility, but big levels for us. I mean, we still haven't filled that wick from those dump lows. So anything down to 850 billion can be a potential level on the table for us to start tracking on some of these alts, and that's going to take us to our next level on some of the altcoins. So you're going to see some of the setups I've got for you today. We've got setups in hot zones now, and then I've got setups in areas slightly lower down in case we do get some kind of meltdown here. So dominance, again, just a reminder as to where we are on dominance. This is the plan. Now, we saw this daily turning bullish over the last couple of days. We know bullish dominance is not necessarily a good thing for alts. And now you've seen these altcoins are getting smashed while dominance is grinding up. So this is the current dominance daily plan, still pushing higher. I'm looking for this wick to get taken out to the upside there. So that is just under 60%. That is a possibility for us. Now, again, if Bitcoin is pumping, that is fine. Okay, if Bitcoin pumping, then these alts will survive. But if it's happening with Bitcoin dropping to low 90s, 90K, those types of levels, yeah, it's going to get ugly for these altcoins. We're going to start losing levels. So we must always be prepared. And we must also understand in these situations, yes, we can get little bounces. We might even get a 2% bounce, 4% bounce on some of these alts. We may even get an 8 or a 10% bounce in the next 24 hours on some of these altcoins. But we are in danger of pushing lower. You need to understand the context of where we are now in the market. So even short-term bounces, let's tighten up stops, things like that once we do get a little bit of action on these alts. So let's look at altcoin season index, going straight to the depths of hell again. So we're back at the mid-range at 47, so not looking great from that perspective. And then Mr. Crypto, now this guy's super bullish all the time. So I thought let's talk about this one because there's a couple of examples here as well. But he's saying don't fade this ETH buy signal. And he's showing the 100-day MA crossing the 200-day MA. And the last couple of times that has happened, there has been upside on ETH. Okay, so cool. We understand that. So long-term view, long-term play, okay, as a spot holder and things like that. Yes, that might make sense that we are going to grind higher. But what if you are a degen? Okay, the degens are, they're going to feel a little bit of pain here. So you can see this ETH plan is now playing out. And I just want to show you those MAs. So the MAs that he is talking about is the 100-day MA crossing over the 200-day MA. That is that over there. So we can see that is technically bullish, but we might still get that dip lower down that we are watching. And even if ETH does dip into the 2,800 region, that 100-day, if it happens quickly, is still going to be on top of that 200-day MA. But then I want to show you what happened when we got our crossover with the 50-day over the 200, which is the golden cross. Look what's happened. We had that bullish cross of the 50-day over the 200, and basically it's been nothing but downhill since that happened. So just understanding the context and the timing of the market. It's time in the market. So for degen traders, these types of things maybe don't work out immediately for us, but obviously some of the spot bags and things like that, yes, if you're taking a longer term view, those type of setups can obviously help you guys. So what are we looking at now for ETH? This is ETH on the daily, and we need to watch a couple of important levels. So yesterday I highlighted the 3,300 level. That was a big zone for us. Now I was saying we don't particularly want to lose this 3,300 zone. You can see why. It's big horizontals here, and it was our consolidation lows from December. So that was a huge zone there for us. Then a little bit lower down, we've highlighted our next zone. That's going to be our 100-day MA and our wick fill. So if we're not going to get a bounce on ETH, let's say even down to this 3,200 level. So even just there, if we're not getting a bounce there, your most reasonable zone for your next ETH bounce is going to be about 3,100 that you're going to be looking at. You can see we've got some VWAP action there. I've got the 0.5 fib, and I've got the 100-day MA holding that zone up. So looking around 3,100, if this level fails, 3.1 is pretty much where you're looking at. And I just want to highlight something else here. We've got some hidden bearish divergence. Look at that. Our oscillator is trending lower, higher as well. You can see that it's flipped over and our price action is lower. So that is also looking a little bit bearish on the daily chart. Now, in spite of a couple of other charts looking a little bit more bullish. So here is ETH on the 4 hour, and you can see we got this bullish reversal sign. But what I want to show you guys today is, we're taking lessons learned. And, one of the things was on December 20th, obviously this was an insane move that we had over that day on December 20th. I mean, we had a massive dump over that period. We had a 24% dump in ETH. We had some alts did 30, 40%. And don't even tell me about Popcat. That was even worse. But what I want to show you guys is when we start getting these reversal prints on the 4 hour, we need to understand the context of where the daily oscillator is, where the 12 hour is as well, and those types of things. And we also just need to look at what tends to happen when the 4 hour prints a reversal. So I just want to go back on the last 2 occasions. I just thought these were the most relevant to show you. So when we get our reversal print on the oscillator, look what's happened here. We got the reversal print. We got a short-term move up on ETH, and then we actually had more downside before the real reversal came. So we had another 7% move to the downside. Then on the 19th of December, we printed the reversal. Things started pushing up a little bit. And then what happened? We had a mega dump on ETH of around about, say, 16% before the next reversal took place. So I just want to show you this, and this is now relevant to a lot of these alts that we're going to be talking about today, because so many of these alts are showing 4 hour reversals. But is this a sign that we might get a short little move up and then the real dump to the downside? So I just want to make sure you guys are prepped for this and some lower levels, obviously. So you can see ETH now, we are printing our reversal sign, but is this a move potentially a little bit lower down? So based on the 4 hour chart and based on the previous 2 instances, let's say ETH does move lower, where's our next reaction zone? Well, that ties in beautifully with that daily chart that I've just shown you and that wick fill, and that is the 100-day MA. I've also got a VWAP here, 3.1, so 3,100. That is going to be your next zone. Okay, so if we do get this move lower now and that oscillator wants to just come and just do something like that, maybe print some divergence there for us, then we're going to get 3,100 on ETH. So just be prepped for lower levels. This is a no ape zone. Obviously, look for some setups here. I'm going to give you setups today in some of these hot zones. So play the setups. Just don't go too big. Don't go max leverage here. Things are very sensitive at the moment. Play the momentum later. So we'll work on some hot zones here. If we get some action, you can always jump in and start adding to your positions later on. Now, while we're talking, things are getting actually dark and dirty again. So earlier today, I closed my phantom short that I was riding in, and after this pump now, I thought, fuck, let's just open a hedge again in case the market's going to fall over. So I've reopened a phantom short, and we're covering Phantom and Sonic today. So we're going to talk about this thing in a couple of minutes, but this is now just running as a hedge for me. I've got a $45,000 phantom short here now that I've added after banking those profits from that short from yesterday. Okay, so that is just a hedge play. Let's see how that goes. Then look, a little bit of a mixed bag. It's quite messy. Look at Tao absolutely rinsing me here, and I think we're actually losing some big levels now on Tao. AVAX is still okay. AVAX short obviously in play. Render got stopped above entry after a round trip there for me, so looking for new render entries. I have actually bought, unless I've been stopped again. I did. Oh yeah, there's render. Okay, so there's my new render that I started today. I've got the render chart for you guys. We are in an interesting area there as well. There's some SOL and there's some XRP. So lots going down here. Let's start looking at Sui. So this is obviously a big one for us. And Sui says a whale's, this was yesterday. I mean, this was hectic. The whale's $20 million long position on Sui is on the verge of liquidation. Now, this was yesterday, okay? And they said this whale deposited 4.1 million Sui and 100K S Sui. So into Sui Lend, he borrowed $14 million in stablecoin. If the price drops to 456, the position will be liquidated. Okay, fuck me. Okay, now this poor guy has got liquidated basically on our first big support zone. Okay, so now again, there's no guarantees that we're not going to hold this area, but this is quite a big zone here for Sui. So these guys have come and they've liquidated this guy at his 4.56. Sui is now trading at 4.5. So this guy's been... Oh my God, that's virtual. That is virtual hitting a hot zone here, bro. This is the moment. We're getting rinsed here.
Yeah.
This is the bar zone, guys. We're moving into the virtual bar zone. Yeah, look at Bitcoin flat. Okay, virtual's in the bar zone. Okay, Ray's adding to his virtual. I'm sitting in virtual. I'm gonna get killed. My other bars have been picked up here. Look at this. I've now got a $26,000 virtual position, bro. This thing better reverse here. Okay, we're gonna deal with virtual in a couple of minutes. Let's finish Sui. So big moves happening here on Sui. What we need to see here in front of us is, what do I have in this region? So I've got a 618 in play. I've got the quantum reactor. I've got an order block as well. I've got a VWAP as well to the lows and a horizontal. Also, I'm getting indications like we've seen on ETH. Now, again, that doesn't mean it's the bottom, because we could easily get that downside again. So this hot zone for me here on Sui, 4.48 down to 4.28. Okay, that is an entry zone here on Sui. Now, it's not a max entry zone. Don't go all in with everything you have, because it's a 4% range here to get your entry in play. But we know this is a typical reaction zone. If the market's going to behave itself, we should get our bounce in that region. Let's take a look at the 1 hour as well. Let's see what the 1 hour is telling us. And look, we're getting a couple of reversal prints here, but it's fighting very hard in that region. So we're going back to the 4 hour, and this is typically now what I'm looking for on Sui. So if it's going to stay bullish, you're going to see something like this, some kind of dip into this region, probably play with that order block, and then our little reversal there on Sui. So that is the most bullish setup I can give you right now for Sui. So anything from call it 4.5 down to 4.28, anything in that region could be worth trying to build a little scalpy position there. And then if the wheels start coming off, what do you do? Where do you go? Well, the next level for me is unfortunately going to be around 4, which is what you're going to be watching. So one of these two, I think, is going to get taken now today, and that is going to be your next big one. That 4 region is going to be a cooker for you guys. So keep your eyes on that. Remember, all these charts go directly into Chart Hackers during and after the show. So this Sui chart will be sitting in Chart Hackers for the Chart Hackers members, and you can use this for reference, obviously, later. So there you go. Okay, 4.5 down to 4.3, and then lower down, you've got around about 4 is where you are looking for your next position. Let's see, where's my Sui? There's my Sui. Okay, so you can see I've got some Sui action here as well. Started buying Sui now already. And let's see if we can get that push into 4.3. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be a massive size by then. So we'll see how that plays out. Right now, it's only 16,000. So we'll try and grow that position a little bit there. Okay, so Sui traders, you've got that. Then let's talk Sol. Andrew Kang saying 2025 Sol ETF trade. Sol retraced most of the post-Trump election pump. Yes. Almost a given. Sol ETF approved this year. Yes, agree. If not in Q1, approval deadlines in Jan to March. No grayscale overhang. That is interesting, like we had with ETH. Remember, grayscale was selling and it put so much pressure on ETH. We don't have that problem with Sol. So if there is that ETF, it might just be up only for a while on Sol. That is also why I'm adamant on trying to keep my Sol long open at the moment. And Sol valued relatively cheap compared to its network usage and growth rate. So Andrew Kang says, keep it simple. Okay, well, let's look at Sol, because right now it's not feeling very simple, because it's now in our first hot zone here. This is the zone we looked at yesterday. And yesterday I was talking 199, but you can see we've got action down to 193 here in the zone. We've got our 618 horizontals, double trend, all sorts of things going on. We've also got very tired oscillators to the downside. But remember what we said with ETH as well. Look at this previous example. When we do get that reversal print, sometimes there is one more sell-off. Okay, we can't write that off. So this is why I'm just reinforcing here. Do not ape in. Okay, small sizing. If you are taking positions here, small sizing. Look at this. We had our green reversal print. Then we had downside. then we had the pump. Okay, so that was a good example there. Even this occasion here, there was some fuck-aroundery in that zone. And then this guy, look at that, bang, okay? So big downside after the reversal print. So just look out for that. And if that is going to happen, you need to be prepped on Sol at your most reasonable or your most likely next zone. So if we do get a fast capitulation wick in the market here on these alts, you're looking at Sol right now down to 190. And then your next big one, again, guys, 177. And danger of a wick into 171. Don't be scared of that wick into the 200-day MA. This blue line is the 200-day MA. Look out for a wick into that zone. So anything from 179 down to a wick onto 171 is probably going to be your next reaction or your next bounce zone before we potentially go a little bit lower. So look out for those levels there, guys. Just be safe, okay? Be super safe here. It's wild out there. And I can't believe I'm still talking about this meme coin XRP. But these guys are doing things, okay? We can't ignore the fact that these guys are getting comfortable with the next president of the United States, okay? So XRP has gone from absolute shit coinery for me and absolute meme coin to guys that are obviously quite cunning and smart with what they're doing there. And they're hanging out with Donald Trump there in front of this beautiful oil painting of a ship. And look at this wonderful wood carvery as well. I mean, isn't that amazing? And anyway, well, let's talk some XRP. And here we go. So XRP, I'm trying to build a position on XRP, obviously relying on the fact that we're going to get some kind of reaction on the market. Now, where do we get the reaction? That is the question. You know, that is the eternal question. But if you look at the XRP versus a lot of these other altcoins, we can see that this thing has held relatively well. And obviously, it's helped the fact that there's been a little dinner there, and they're advertising that all over Twitter at the moment. But if you compare this to, say, Arweave or Ejective or Render, XRP has obviously been the most stable now of the last move. So where can you start buying some of these things? Well, number one, 2.2. Okay, that is an interesting zone there for XRP. Watch 2.2. You can see I've got my 50-day MA as well. And we've got some interesting horizontals here coming into play at around about 2.1. So, you know, as long as this market... Look, as long as we don't get like a 40% capitulation wick on like Bitcoin or something like that, I'm expecting a bounce on XRP before we start losing things like the 2 region. I don't really want to lose that 2 region. So these are typically the areas that I would look for action. 2.2, 2.1, look for that today. If we get turbo bearish on the market, then you just want to identify that 1.95. That is going to be your next big guy for XRP. But you can see why, logically, you can see that looks like a big reaction zone for us there as well. So 1.95 could be a nice scalp play. If you are trading spot and you are bullish for the rest of 2025, or you are bullish for the first quarter of 2025, well, these are all DCA zones for you. These are gift zones, 2.2, 2.1, 1.95. That's where you can start stacking some entries on XRP. Remember, if you wanted to buy XRP up there, it's now going to look even better while it starts creeping a little bit lower. Yes, Ivan, the bears are eating. And it's always in these moments where I wish we had more head shorts open. And, you know, the market's been, to be fair, the market's been relatively disappointing. It's not giving us the max push that we wanted to give us. Now, let's talk Sonic and what is going on here. This is Sonic, lads. December 24 was a month for the history books, and it was just the start. So Sonic mainnet is now live. The S or Sonic S token is being launched. So Phantom is no more, guys. But how's this story? Okay, now these guys launched a gaming token called Sonic as well. And Runner XPT says Phantom USD is rebranding to Sonic. That is SUSD. Pretty much the same week as there's a Soul Gaming L2 called Sonic being listed at the same time. So now, who's buying Sonic? Who's buying Sonic? And who's buying it?
Check Bitcoin. Bitcoin is at 94.2.
There, here we go, guys. We're moving into our box of love. Okay, this is what we were waiting for. Okay, if we're going to get a bounce, I want it in this zone. I want it in this region, 93,900 down to this 92,900 region. Let's see if we can get that reaction there. Okay, Ray, keep us posted there. Let's carry on with Sonic. But now, I mean, how awkward is this for everyone? For the Sonic 2, if they are the L2, if they are taking their life seriously, why are they launching Sonic gaming token the same time Phantom is launching Sonic? Surely they would do something a little bit smarter. But yeah, look, a bit of a clown show, what is going on there. And I thought, let's look at Phantom for old time's sake. This is it. You know, this is the end of Phantom. We're not really going to chart Phantom again after the 10th of January. So I suppose there's part of me that's sad to see Phantom go, because in that last bull market we were longing Phantom at around about $3, and that is now history. That is in the history books for us, and we'll be starting with Sonic. So things are going to get interesting there. But just with regards to Phantom, we know it's getting delisted on exchanges, Bybit, WeX as well. A lot of these other exchanges that we're using, it is going off. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next 24 hours, but we know by the 10th of January, they are off the exchanges. So that's why I just jumped into that Phantom short again, just in case there's one more sell-off there. I'm not sure if guys are going to be trying to long Phantom on perps. So who knows? Okay, but it's now moving to S. So just wait patiently for S. And any trading with Phantom is probably going to be dangerous. And it's going to end by the 10th of January. They'll probably auto-close any of your positions. So if you haven't closed it yourself, look out. They might just shut you down on those Phantom trades. So right now, you can see it depends where Sonic's going to kick off from, but 62 looks like the level. Yes, sir. Oh, let's go. We're going to add 2 here. We're going to add 0.2. Okay, we added 0.2 BTC here. We're on that 786. Okay, and then we got one more push down into that VWAP here, where hopefully we can get a nice push. Okay, keep going. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Phantom, you guys know the drill. Yes, sir. Are you there, Ray? Ray, are you there? He's coming in. He's going up. He's going up.
Sorry, it's freezing. My bad.
Oh,
nothing.
You good?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, well, I added to that Bitcoin. I added that Bitcoin position. Okay, let's talk injective now. There's a couple of plays here for you guys. Now, it depends. Bitcoin's going to need to bounce, okay, at this zone. If Bitcoin's going to go deeper, we know things like injective and some of the charts I'm going to show you now, they're going to go lower. So make sure you are prepped and ready for new depths of hell for some of these alts. But like I was saying earlier, that XRP chart versus this injective, this is so offensive to me that these market makers can come and behave like this, like absolute savagery. Yeah, 20% that they've done us in a couple of days. In 24 hours or 48 hours, they've done us 20% on injective. It's so offensive. And I closed my short yesterday feeling quite smug, somewhere up there, and all they did was give us a small bounce, and now they've dumped it even lower. So anybody sitting in injective short still, I commend you for having those balls to hold that short all the way here. I mean, no one would have expected injective to dump to these types of levels, so well played there for you. And we can see injective is now moving into our quantum reactor. It's eating up this order block. Look at this order block. It's getting absolutely destroyed here. But if injective is going to bounce, this is going to be the zone. We need this bounce here off this quantum reactor. Alternatively, we're going to wait for Bitcoin, but then our next zone. Okay, so let's cover injective here, 21.2. We need this thing to bounce in this region here. Alternatively, we get some big wick here on the market, and our next move is going to be down to 20.6. And then, unfortunately, guys, we are taking out these lows here at 19.5. So be ready at 19.5. If you get a capitulation wick now, be ready. 19.5 is where you need to be ready, locked and loaded here for injective. So, guys, some of these charts here, pick your favorites. If we're going to get a capitulation in the next hour or so, make sure you have your favorites ready in front of you. Get your levels ready. It's hard to start juggling these balls if the market falls over and you're not pre-prepped. Okay, so injective levels, let's just confirm. And let me take these blocks away here quickly. Yeah, these are my new Chart Prime order blocks that I'm playing with at the moment. They're going to come live. Anyone with the Chart Prime from my accelerator school, you're going to start getting the new order blocks that they have developed here for you guys. Okay, so levels that we want to watch. We know that is our quantum reactor zone here and our horizontals. That is 22.5. Then we've got 20.6. And then we've got our lows here at 19.1. Okay, these are the big levels here. I mean, that is so offensive. What is going on here? Wow. Okay, and then when we do get a bounce, obviously, I'm expecting a fast snapback bounce. But remember, when you start losing big support levels, you need to look at those big support levels as your next resistance on the way up. So if we do get a bounce, there's going to be a lot of late shorters as well. They're going to get squeezed higher. There'll be a fast bounce, but you're going to look at resistance 22. Big resistance zone there for you. 22, danger zone. Next zone, 23.6. Those are going to be your big danger zones to the upside there. Okay, let's go 𝗚𝗓𝗡 now. I closed my 𝗚𝗓𝗡 short earlier today on this region, and I flipped long on Bitfunded, and now I got a feeling I'm going to get stopped on Bitfunded if this thing doesn't bounce right here. You can see I've teed this thing up perfectly. It is so clean here with what is going on. Look at this. We've got this perfect little order block sitting down here. I've got my 786 as well, tied in with these horizontals. This 15.5 under normal circumstances makes sense for a bounce zone, but this is offensive. Let's just look at the size of this. Ray, this is fucking unreal, bro. Look at this. 23% on 𝗟𝗓𝗡. Okay, next level for us. If we start losing this zone for 𝗟𝗓𝗡, you're looking at this wick fill. That is going to be the number here. You're looking at this move into 14.3. That is where it's going to be. So look at 14.3 there for us on 𝗟𝗓𝗡. That is going to be your next bounce zone. Look, it's going to happen now. It's going to happen very quickly here. Ray, are we getting rinsed? Bitcoin's still flat.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
The dominance. This dominance is a problem, guys. Massive problem here. Look at that. Bullish dominance. We need this dominance to start reversing. So we want to see this dominance reverse at these highs here. That would be ideal. Okay. If we pop through those highs, we got a problem. Here's our 100-day moving average. So ideally, you want to see that. Okay. Alternatively, it's going to be that. So there's going to be another push then on the alts if we start breaking that horizontal there. So just something to keep our eyes on there. Okay. So injective going to hell. 𝗟𝗓𝗡 going to hell? Where's your entry? 14.4, those types of levels to the downside. Be prepped, be ready. And then I do have a macro level lower down. Let's actually bang out the weekly here when the shit's really hitting the fan. We're going to get out the weekly. Look at that. Our weekly low, 12.8. Okay, 12.8. Very impressive. Very unpleasant sell-offs. I thought Ivan was saying very impressive sell-offs. Fuck, guys. This is intense. Okay, so 13 is going to be the next one that you are looking at. 13 for 𝗟𝗓𝗡. Okay, that is the next big one. You can see it's a massive macro zone. It's a weekly level as well. So it will take some work to lose that, but it's something to watch. Guys, virtual, this is it. Okay, I'm literally going to get liquidated here, or this thing's going to fucking bounce. Okay, this is it. This was our zone. We've been waiting for the zone for, I don't know, 4 days since Sunday, probably. And we are finally here on virtual. So this is the zone. You can see what is going on in this area. There was a ton. We've got our horizontals. We got our 618. We got VWAPs. We had our POC. I even had some of these order blocks sitting in the way as well. And on the lower time frames, we had order blocks in that zone as well. So this is why I'm bullish on that zone. You can see our oscillator heavily oversold as well. And ideally, you can see we got our reverse print. And now we got our reverse print up there. And what did we get? The sell-off, which is what we want to see. And here's our sell-off. So now looking for that reversal. Okay, we got a reverse in the zone, and backup level here on virtual 2.96 is what you're going to be watching. So anything from 3.24 to 2.96, that is going to be your zone that you are going to be paying attention to. Then I wanted to use this as an example for you guys for the next few setups that I'm about to give you. Now, it remains to be seen if the setups I'm about to give you have been rinsed or not. But the example I want to give you guys is a regular trend. Okay, this is the 4 hour on Fartcoin. I just thought this was so impressive and just such a nice example for you guys. Regular rising trend. Okay, we love these, and we see these on tons of alts. And what do you tie that in with? A macro trend and a 786. Okay, you often get such banger moves off a 786 tied in with a trend. And I want to just remind you guys that these types of zones are pretty powerful. And Fartcoin was just a great example. Dumped into that thing and then it pumped 20%. Now, obviously, full reversal with the market. So, unsustainable. But just want to give you an example that 786 and trend often plays out very well for these altcoins. And okay, you can see our RSI there has dropped back. Yes, sir.
Guys in the chart hackers got that 20% move.
The hackers got Ray called that move in chart hackers earlier today. I actually didn't get it. Unfortunately, I was very bleak that I wasn't watching chart hackers, but Ray got that banger in the chart hackers on his scalping session earlier today. Okay, let's go. Okay, so Fartcoin, let's see the damage. Okay, here we go, guys. So 𝗏, I'm absolutely fucked. I'm absolutely rinsed, but here's the entry. Okay, this is it. 430, that is your zone. You can see what I've prepped here for you guys. It's a head and shoulders play for me. So looking for this thing to reverse here. Look at that little ping into that zone. 200-day MA wick, and then we're looking for that right shoulder on that possible head and shoulder. So that is the game plan on 𝗏. There were two options, 786 and trend, which just got rinsed, and then the macro 786 pool. So 440 to 420, that is going to be your next zone. 440 to 420, looking for a bounce there on 𝗏. Absolute savage. Look at this thing. 24%. Okay, these alts absolutely wrecked, bro. I cannot believe this shit. Let's look at Phantom. Is Phantom still alive? Where is he? Phantom lost the weekly. Phantom's just hanging around. Okay, Phantom's just chilling here at the moment. Everything else is going straight to zero. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, let's go. Okay, so wait. Okay, virtual's bouncing. Well, that's a relief. Okay, let's go tower. So you got the levels 440 to 420, looking for that bounce. Now, we don't have to be that aggressive. We don't have to lock in that right shoulder there. But what we do want to see is this push up into at least 460. So if you catch this bounce now on tower at 440 to 430, and it does start pushing up, you know that this 460 region is going to be your next big resistance band. Okay, so just look out there. If you do get a move to the upside, that is most likely your first danger zone that you're going to pay attention to. Okay, so tower locked and loaded here. Render, okay, here we go. Render is going to give us this bounce here. And 7.14, that is what we're looking at. 786 and trend. You can see our oscillator on the 2 hour, also pretty oversold there. And I'd like to see that move. So let's just check the size of this one. 19%. Okay, these alts are all the same across the board, just getting absolutely rinsed, wiping out all the gains from December. When was this? This was 1st of January, guys. We're getting absolutely wiped out here. So for me, if there is going to be a trade here on render, look at this thing at around about 7. That's where the action is. Round about 7 is where it's at for me. Watch out there. 7 for render. That is going to be your number. Then upside resistance is going to be 7.54. So that trade is potentially going to look like this. Okay, just watch your stops. Look for a reaction in the zone. So don't ape in full size when you're in that area. You nibble little bit. Watch the token. Watch the reaction in those zones. When you start getting consolidation on those hot zones there, then you're going to look for trend breaks. You're going to look for horizontal breaks. Then you can start adding, because by then you'll know if the market has shifted momentum. So remember, we drop into these hot zones. We can sniff around these areas. And remember, ladder into these zones. That is your safest way to do it. Little entries, little bits at a time. And once you get momentum, then you can start adding to these levels. Fuck me, this is brutal, bro. Wow. Okay, let's look at the next one.
Coin bounced again. It bounced hard again. Unbelievable. 4% bounce.
Okay, guys, Lido. Another one, Lido. Absolute carnage out here. This is Lido, obviously now on ETH weakness, not doing well. So let's take a look. ETH is losing levels. Guys, remember, 3,100 is where it's at for ETH for the next bounce for me. Let's look at, so Lido dropping into 155. Okay, you can see I've got a 786 and trend. Look at that. Here's a 786 and trend in play for us there for Lido. So look out, 155 for me. Lido is a potential long zone there. A little bit lower down, you've got 1.43. That is going to be your zone. 1.43 is going to be the next one. So 1.55, 1.43, be ready. With your alts. Nia, here we go. Nia is coming, and I dropped this one in Chart Hackers earlier today. I said one of these should be the banger zone. Okay, one of them should be the banger. We can see we've lost the 200-day MA now. We've lost the 786. We've lost the trend. We are now moving into our horizontal here, looking for a reversal. So Nia traders, look for a bounce in the zone. This is our area here. 4.9 down to about 4.85. Watch that area. 4.9 down to about 4.85. Then a little bit lower down, you've got your wick fill. You've always got to consider the possibilities of a wick fill after a dump. And this was our 20th of December dump low. So remember the pain on that day? Well, they're coming for us again. Okay, so it is 4.55. That is going to be your next backup zone on Nia. Okay, so I'm loving 4.8, that type of region, 4.8, 4.9. And then we're looking at 4.55 is your next disaster zone here for Nia. Okay, let's go H-bar straight to hell. Okay, I mean, this is unreal. Look at this. We've got so much divergence printing here on H-bar, plus these reversals shouting at us at the moment. And what we do know is that when this thing does reverse, it's going to be sharp, it's going to be quick. And let's try and identify a couple of zones here. So that is our macro pool. Let's just get these FIBs in line here. And let's try and tie them in. Okay, so this is your obvious zone. So H bar for me, if you want to get a stink bid in play right now, okay, H bar there, that's a potential bounce zone. 50-day MA tied in with that 786, quite a big 786 pool. I would look for that bounce. So H bar traders, levels for you to watch. Okay, obviously these lows. So level number 1, 2.66, then higher conviction 2.56. Okay, 2.66, 2.56 for H bar. Look for that bounce there. Those are most likely the areas that you're going to get that reaction. So 2.56 and 2.66. Those are your zones. Watch that. When we hit that 2.56, could be spicy down there. Okay, watch that guy. What else have we got? 𝗬𝗓𝗡. This one, interesting. Okay, so 𝗬𝗓𝗡, there could be a bounce play coming here. I like this whole area as a whole. What I have identified here is this wick fill from the 20th of December that I wanted you guys to take a look at. So that is our lows. That's tied in with a VWAP for us. So 𝗬𝗓𝗡 traders, we've got a potential move here down to 266. Okay, look out, 266. That type of region there should give us some kind of bounce there. If not, well, fuck, guys, we're going to look at lower levels. So let's cover a couple here. Let's look at the 8 hour. And we can note that we do have a massive wick lower down, okay, that hasn't been tackled, that hasn't been filled. So if we start losing big zones, well, that is going to be most likely the next target. And that next target got nice confluence as well with the 100-day MA, the wick fill, and obviously those horizontals. So big levels for 𝗬𝗓𝗡. For those of you looking for entries, anything from just above 266. And then I've got this other banger for you down here at 224. That is going to be your hot zone that you're going to be watching. Look at that 8 hour. Also starting to print heavily oversold here, but we know this market. They can send us even lower. Okay, so that is that. Ray, how are we on our BTC? Are we in our VWAP?
BTC just hit that 93,247.
Okay, so look, guys, look here. Why is this VWAP interesting? And it's got a tie-in with this wick as well. Okay, so that's an interesting zone there for me. And you got the wick. You've also got the VWAP. Let's just check the dates of this VWAP.
Virtual, very strong bounce.
Okay, VWAP from 4th of November. Okay, that's the VWAP dump from the 4th of November. And we're looking for that to hold the support for us. So looking for that bounce there, 92,900. And then lower down, guys, it's 91 to 90K. That is our lows, 91 to 90K. That is the range low there. And then possibly quite a big move up from BTC after that. So 91 to 90K. And then 92,900 on that VWAP is what we're looking at. Sure. Guys, messy out there. Wow. Okay. So, you see the plan. You've got levels of interest here. If you are looking for longs, what we do know, after these types of dumps, we do get quite a sharp snapback bounce. But what you need to watch now is the possible capitulation candle. So look out for that. If there is going to be a capitulation candle, it often typically hits these hot zones. So those zones that I've given you now on those charts, they are a little bit lower down. So if you capitulate, look for that little reaction off those guys. That should give you, on some of these alts, 5, 10, 15% snapback move on some of the alts. Just remember the drill. If we do get that bounce, what happens? Everyone gets euphoric again, and then we come back and revisit those wicks one more time. So any strong bounces here, we can look for shorts as well on some of these altcoins. Just watch your levels. It's chaos out there, but just play it safe. Okay, small positions here. When you get that bounce, you'll know it be happening, because you'll see that Bitcoin candle turn super bullish as well. So just wait patiently, hang in there. Okay, everything's going to be okay. Chart hackers, let's do a live session in the next 30 minutes. I'll jump in there. We'll tackle some of this mess. Okay, guys, catch you later. Good luck out there. Woo! Fuck me, that's messy out there. Wow.